Hello everyone and welcome to something new once again. As you can see, I am the least consistent gamer ever and I love starting new games all the time. And in this particular scenario, in this particular case, we have a game that was actually in development and available as alpha, pre-alpha release and so on. And it has very recently hit their 1.0 release date, which is pretty cool because it means now we can at least show it and explain it as it is intended to be done, and we can already dive in. The name of the game is Avorion, and as a short description, if you want, it's somewhere between EVE Online, Freelancer, Space Engineers, and all those in between. What you can see right now, it actually starts revealing a lot of the game, is we are a pilot, of course, in space, and we have access to tiny things, tiny ships. Of course, this game in particular has no player avatar, which means there's no need to make people and walkable stations and character customization either, but you do get to customize throughout the game thanks to your ships. And as the game grows, not only will I have a ship, I will have many ships, and for example, different than EVE Online, I will be able to also assign captains to them and crew, which is something that I've always hated of EVE Online, that we're alone handling everything we have. And you'll be able to set some commands to customize what your fleet does for you. So you yourself are a small corporation, which is why the name of a group of corporations, or if you want to call it like that, would be alliances. That would be the guild equivalent. In this game, however, we have to start from very rough beginnings. We have what is called a probe. And the cool thing about this probe is you can lose it an infinite amount of times and you will always get one more probe for free. The probe is capable of mining the basic resource, iron, and with iron, of course, you can make your first ship, and then with the first ship, you can make everything else that you're planning to do. The game features actually a storyline. It's also playable single player if you don't want to be online. I am currently online, enjoying it. A server with other people. Even though this is like the first time I enter in this particular server, you can choose to make your own, have being playing only with your friends if you want to stay like that. And it offers procedural content all throughout its galaxy thanks to the generation that it has. And now I will hit the map and I will show you that each of this is actually an entire system, just like you would expect in EVE Online. And if I start zooming out, you will see that the size of this game, the sheer size, is ridiculous. They do have some contingencies for this problematic, and that is that only systems where players currently exist or have active fleets do process new things and new events. So, for example, everything that we see here is currently in standby, right? And this also makes it not impossible for the server to load all of this. It also means that the galaxy is finite, right? So I guess it's reasonable. You can find yourself going to the corners if it's what you want, or to the center. And as you can imagine, there are sectors in this world that are more dangerous than others. The closer you come to the center, the more dangerous it gets. And around here, so currently I have nothing explored, as you can imagine. But around here, there is a time rift space distortion barrier, which does not allow you to enter the center unless you take other steps in the game. So basically, as a newbie, I cannot just jump in directly there. Once you take those steps, the center opens for you, and in this particular server, for example, the center is the PvP enabled area. And of course, the center is the only place where you can find the highest of resources, Ogonite and Avorion. So you can imagine the fight for the center is important. They are the strongest materials and they offer a lot of upgrades compared to everything else. There are also a lot of processes by NPCs. There are kingdoms, there are pirates, there are smugglers, there are transports, there are industries. There is literally everything you can imagine that is expected of a game like EVE Online. You are also capable of claiming asteroids, mining them, manufacturing resources, selling them to stations, putting up your own station, offering services to players or to NPCs. The NPCs will get generated and interact with your own stuff, and it really grows big. You can imagine that this goes on and on and on in all types of imagination. If you're playing online, usually servers have some sort of restrictions. For example, you are not allowed to have more than 5 stations. You are not allowed to have more than 10. Actually, no, wait. It's I don't know the particulars of this server, but my last server where I started playing was 10 stations total for each player, which is still a lot. 10,000 blocks per ship, which is still an insane amount. And 5 active systems with your NPC captains spread all over. And that is already huge, right? Because, of course, the graphical quality is lower to what they call cubed cells. I'm not entirely sure, but they're basically cubic voxels. This allows them to calculate a lot of things way easier, right? So collisions are boxes, and fuck it, we can do everything way cheaper than, I don't know, games like EVE Online or Freelancers, Space Engineers, and so on, which have immense problems trying to keep up with their physics and whatnot. So this game offers all of these type of freedoms, and it just dragged me in. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start you what I will do in these first steps. Mind you, I am still an absolute newbie in this game. However, I can tell you, iron is the first material you can farm, and that's what we will do. As we start getting some pieces of iron, it is already enough probably to build a tiny ship, but I think I want to skip a little bit of doing the tiny things and just go for something a little bit bigger. So I'm gonna finish mining this asteroid in particular. We can even check like the health. There's a lot of intricacies in shipbuilding. We're gonna talk about them as we go, as we make ships. The cool ideas are all there, and I'm really enjoying trying to balance out what we do versus what we get. I also have to say I'm a terrible ship designer, but at least I will make very useful bricks. And hopefully one day, when we decide that those are our final ships, I'll be able to put some nice decorations into it, finish them, give them a shape. Okay. Almost done with this asteroid. There are tiers of technology as expected. There are modifiers that you can put on your ships. It is also possible to make hangar with fighters, so you can have like a mothership that launches smaller ones. But none of that matters if we don't found a ship. And the first one we're gonna call Miner, because I'm not really good at namings. And as I mentioned, we get a brick. So as soon as we found a ship, we only get this base iron hull. And if we open the crafting menu, you could say, you get to choose from a lot of possible blocks. And the blocks even have different shapes. Like for example, this blank hull has all of these different corners that you can use and so on. The armor does as well, so you can armor your ship a little bit more. But I am going to be a little bit more brute and start dragging down some shortcuts. There's engines, cargo base, crew quarters, thrusters, directional thrusters, which I never use. Gyros I don't use. Inertia dampener we're gonna put over here. Frameworks I don't use. I'm still not good with this. A flight recorder I don't care. Assembly not at all. Torpedo launcher,
Tomorrow
I have no
is
torpedoes.
Finally the day I can get my Joshua and not 4 copies of
Ooh,
Estelle.
that's true. Sugard.
Laughing face.
Hi, I really hope we have a nice launch of the rerun tomorrow. Torpedo storage and turret base. I think this is what I'm gonna use. And you know what? Solar panels. Okay, so first things first, I want to replace this current block of nothing with crew quart. So now our ship has a capacity of 16 crew. Already good. We're also gonna put some engines in the back. How can I make it? So how about I start like this. And then I'm gonna use some thrusters. The difference between the thrusters and the... also activate mirrors. The difference between the thrusters and the engine is that the thrusters go in all directions. And they're really not used for the forward thrust. So we're gonna put it like this. And then we're also gonna supplement this with some thrusters down below. Some engines. Now we can see our acceleration is through the roof, even though our max velocity is not. That's because we have a very heavy ship. Also, we have ruined a little bit of our direction at maybe 106. Yeah, maybe that's better. We have now some acceleration. We are still generating more energy than what we're paying, so that's good. We can make more iron thrusters if we think we need. And I feel like we should take this. So we have some sort of TIE fighter right now facing forward. How are we on solar panels? That seems to be fine. Avorion crew, that's fine. Cargo bay, we have absolutely none right now. So that's small again, and we're gonna make it a little bit bigger. And it's gonna go here on the sides. And finally, we're gonna put a little turret base over here. It is not needed to have a turret base, it's just I find it useful because it has nice indicators where to put your turrets. So, what are we gonna put on this? We put 2 mining turrets and 1 chain gun turret. And with this, bam, we should have our first ship. See, can we fly in every direction? Yes. Can we go forward? Yes. However, we have now our first problem to solve. And that is that if we see here, our ship has no crew. Our acceleration is very bad because of this, and because we cannot shoot, we are very weak compared to everyone else. So, what do we have to do? We just go to a station. So we dock to the station, we hire crew, and I think we will need like 6 people. Let's go with 9 random people. Ooh, they already sell a captain here. Could be interesting if we make some money. We go back to the ship, and we say put an engineer in there, put another one so that we get a bonus. 2 gunners for the chain gun, 4 miners for the mining beams, and then the 1 mechanic that will repair us if we get hurt. But here's the thing: iron sucks, and we really don't want to stay in this tier. However, now that we have a ship and that it's capable of boosting like this, also of braking, but we don't have inertia dampeners. Is that good enough? Inertia dampeners help us brake when we are already going forward. So what is this? Ship is very weak. Okay. Ah, never mind. I'm shooting at the asteroid. That's not good. Turn off the gun. Start mining. Now, compared to what we used to do with the tiny probe, this is way easier, way faster, and of course, effective. Quickly capture all of this iron right now. And can we do? Where can we? I don't see particularly many more asteroids with a lot of resources. Maybe we'll end up jumping away from this place. If it's curious to people as to why I keep torturing myself with games that are so slow, procedural, and that require a lot of effort, it's just because I love this. I love the idea of being the little guy that starts small, ends up grinding, finding asteroids, for example, like this one, which has titanium, which is now the next tier of materials, which I could already be including in my ship if I wanted to make like a nightmare type of ship. And the cool thing is that the game itself has its own progression through the tiers, and every time you reach a new tier of materials, at least one new block gets unlocked. For example, with titanium we get the structural integrity field, yes, integrity field generator, which is not quite a shield, but it will make it so that our parts do not break from any type of impact until those parts are dead first. It's kinda like a shield, it's just you take damage anyway. So you lose health, it's just the health is distributed all over the field rather than on the one part that is being hit. So your health is still your health, there's no shields that protect you, but at least you can bump into an asteroid without exploding. So let's go to the next tier of blocks. You see that the selection is already different. These three in particular have lit up. The new ones are an energy container, battery if you want, a generator, which of course makes more energy, and the titanium integrity field. I put it over there. Cool. These don't need to be big. And now our entire ship is protected with this type of field. Good. How about we? Excellent. Just in time about what I was going to say. As you remain in the field, stuff will happen. It could be a merchant shows up, it could be that pirates show up, and as you can imagine, I'm really not made to fight yet. However, anytime you're in an NPC territory and you help against pirates, as you see I shot one of them, you will get a reward. You will get rewarded depending on the difficulty of the pirates, of course, and you'll also be able to loot them. So if you're in a place where you're alone, then it is in your interest to help defeat these pirates. Especially because NPCs are very well protected and they will win this fight no matter what I do. Usually. It could also happen that pirates end up winning and then the sector changes hands and the game goes on its own, which I find amazing. And more importantly about loot, we start getting our first modules, or new turrets. For example, that energy shield converter here down at the bottom right, or a quad bolter turret. I'm gonna check later what that is. That one exploded right in front of me. Did he drop any loot? But yeah, here we go. The relationships with this place has increased by blah, and I got some 20,000 just as a reward. How cool is this? And I did shoot one of the guys, so I guess I count. That is what I like. Trying to find the loot for these pirates having died and exploded, but they exploded too. Actually, they leave wreckages at least. For example, this one. But I don't see the loot around it. That's good. Well, I don't see loot. Okay. Ah, loot over there. No, that's actually a space station. Well, it could be both. Alright, so now I've accumulated a little bit of money. I've also gotten some more minerals. I could be ready to upgrade this ship into a titanium ship, for example. But I think I will want to do some more stuff before I change my ship at all. In general, I think it is a very solid idea to try to go to Neonite, whatever we want to call it, and to have proper stuff for that tier, because that's a tier where you can get shields. Once you have shields, you feel a lot safer about what you're doing. In the stations, wait, before we dock to the station and we start trading with it, stations have a lot of purposes. For example, in the list here we can see that there's a resource depot. This is where you can trade in scrap metal or unrefined ores and then get real metal out of it. There's a shipyard where you can directly buy new ships if you don't want to design them yourself. or you can use the starter of a station so that you can create your own station later. A repair dock where you can go even as your tiny drone and get your ship rebuilt or repaired from having it been destroyed or half destroyed. An NPC zinc mine that is simply offering zinc for sale probably and maybe buying some other supplies, which could be then part of the trading that we do later or don't do later. And an equipment dock, which is my personal favorite because equipment docks hold this menu. And in this particular menu, you get to find a lot of things that will help you advance your game. And there are new upgrades. Oh my god. Okay. Did we just lose the server? Oh, I didn't even mark it. Oh my god, that's so bad. You know what's cool? Right before starting this, oh my god, are all servers down? Is the full game down? Okay. That seems to be a thing. Let's see what happens if I try to restart the game. Anyway, what I was going to say is upgrades modify your ship in ways that you would expect from actual low energy and medium energy slots in EVE Online. Nope. All the servers really died. I'm guessing this is actually from Avorion then, that something went horribly wrong in their center distribution. You know what? We can go into a single player mode. Tiny galaxy. Maybe I get to show you a little bit more advanced data. I also think it's really cool that you could just play single player. A lot of people wanted to play EVE Online single player just because the game offers its own type of fun. And having the constant danger of people right next to you may have turned some people off. So the fact that this game offers both makes me really happy. Anyway, in the equipment station, you're able to find the upgrades, you're able to find new turrets, and you're able to find special items in general. In particular, the upgrades and the turrets determine most of what your ship does as well. For example, the turrets that I installed in my initial ship that we just saw were all iron quality level, which means they're bad, which means I need to replace them. An iron mining turret, for example, cannot mine either tier 3 or tier 4 material already. So it's necessary to start visiting these places and eventually reaching out to the newer levels. Oh my god! I don't even play single player. What is going on? Let's see what happens. It's an excellent way to show a game exactly when it's failing. I have to be very, very clear though, this is a very small studio with a very small team, and suddenly they release the game to the masses of people wanting to eat content. So I think we have thrown down their servers a few times already. This is no surprise. Patience is one of the virtues when playing indie games like this, or smaller games like this, necessarily. If at least I can play single player, but it's going. Maybe I need to start a new game. We'll see. We'll see. In the meantime, I am looking at Langrisser and trying my hardest not to pull for the banner before they leave. Because I know I won't be using Mystery Knight or Virage at all. And let's close the game again. One game. Do this for yourself. Oh, it doesn't even want. Oh, it's updating in real time. Oh my god. Leave it up to me to play on patch day. I really searched these times perfectly fine. Okay, I understand. Let me see if I can find some information. Otherwise, I just have to close this video in the saddest of ways. Library. I think we're coming back. I'm betting people love absolutely watching. Game to a good launch. There we go. Alright, let's see if we're back up. Not. Look at single player. We'll make a new one. Just random stuff. Maybe because of the patch, we lost something in the single player and there's something bigger. All I want to do is get back into the I also find it funny because right before starting the stream, I asked the people in the server how the stability was, because of course I did not want this exact thing to happen. They were like, this server has been up for years and there's only the occasional hiccup and so on. It only takes me streaming to obviously shut the game down. All the servers, kill even the single player mode. My god. I have destroyed everything. I'm starting to wonder now if it's my computer. Aha! There is a server. We shall try to connect to it. See what happens. I think this is one of the problems with new online games. If they get some sort of traction, people start flooding it and they never have the capacity to cope. Even World of Warcraft. I remember trying to log in the first days when the game came out, or anytime there was a patch, and you ended up being teleported around, pinging at 2000 or 3000. Basically impossible to play. So hey, good for the game, bad for us trying to show it. Very bad for us. things until something works. You know what? If this one fails, I'm gonna safely cut it for now. Take it up whenever the game is back up. We can continue talking about it. It really looks like we'll have to cut it here and pick it up another day. Maybe even another time. I really don't see this going anywhere. Luckily, there's no Langrisser player in chat asking me to pull because of this. Just looking at my tickets, trying not to waste them. Akaya comes in 2 weeks. Gotta focus on that. Okay. We have given this enough tries. I think there's something very wrong going on, especially because there's literally no server alive. My god, I need to complain for things to happen, obviously. Okay, now we need to find our server again. I wonder if everyone is like, oh my god, what is happening? Was it this one? No, it's one other. This. I have written down the name. This. Yes. Hey, see if it all works back. Maybe I need to restart the game once again. I feel like if the servers are up, usually because they had people connected. Feel like we're not gonna come through. Okay. Let's try disconnect. My Windows has like 3 instances of the game running. Oh, clearly something went wrong. Okay, we're in the game again. Now if it doesn't work, it's my fault and I don't. Okay, we put it in favorites. There we go. Hope we connect. Going on. Check if there's any post about. I see. Could be just. I really wonder what is going. Try one last time. You know what, I'll just shut this down until I can figure out what's going on. I feel like I will have to restart my own computer just because Windows works like this. Yeah, okay, then I guess that will be it for now. I'll see if I come back. I hope I can come back. See you soon.